Hey guys, welcome to another edition of Joken Around. Yeah, we got Joe here.
Hello.
I'm Ken. This is Joe. You know, we're here in the studio at Key Element Studios with another edition. Last week's podcast was pretty cool.
That was pretty cool.
It was pretty awesome.
It's fun.
It's so I'm really sorry about this episode.
We're gonna let you down.
Am I supposed to say anything yet?
Just quiet.
Hey, not
So
yet.
that's Joe.
I'm Joe over here.
I'm
Far.
Ken.
Yeah. And then we got.
No.
Oh,
I'm Ben.
What?
I'm Ben.
Ben. There's a third one here.
we're gonna rule the galaxy.
That's Ben. That's
Yes.
Joe. I'm Ken. So I guess we're Ben Joken Around.
Aha!
Oh man, I missed it. I thought it would be like weave. We've been
No. Hey, wait, no. Ah!
Well,
That was
Guess
good,
what?
Ken. That was good. The
Guess
Ben
what?
joking around. Well done.
the reason we're bringing Ben in here is because he's the eldest, and the eldest must be here.
The Elder
Scrolls
has made
This is an intervention.
An intervention.
And interventions. Yeah. Hey Ben, how you doing?
Loving it. I'm actually a little intimidated to be on this podcast because you guys, this is awesome. We've been listening to it in the car.
Nice.
I mean, when you started a couple years ago, I thought it was a cool idea, like a neat idea, and then it kept like getting better and better, and then there's like a little break, and there's just been all kinds of cool stuff. So we've been listening to it as a family, actually going down the road, and we just caught up, just listened to last one, which is awesome.
Yeah, it was really cool.
I'm just so pumped about. Now I want to read that stuff,
Yeah.
right? Because I haven't
man.
yet, and
So
Yeah.
awesome.
so. But anyway, I just
I'm pretty picky with my comic stuff. You know,
Yeah.
I'm not into the woke stuff, and there's a ton of junk out there. Obviously, yeah, the woke
Folks.
stuff. But
say if you go woke, you go broke.
yeah,
That's what they say.
yeah, and
what I've heard.
and that's even what Robert said. Not in so many words, but he said, listen, they kept trying to gritty Superman up over and over.
Yeah, I
and
heard him
he's just
say that.
unbreakable.
Yep.
And he's not into that. He doesn't even want to write Batman.
I know that was the last like 10 minutes of that podcast was gold. I mean, all of it was great, but then I was like, oh man, I really have to read this now because the soul of it, what he was writing,
Yes.
I was like, oh, I gotta, yeah. So
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
what I got to do.
Yep, do it, man. It's
Yeah.
it's not that long. It's only 6 issues. You can buy the collected one too. You can get it on Google Play, and that's how I do it. I'll put it on Google Play Books, and then you
Oh,
can
nice.
scroll with your volume.
Yeah, to like
button, and
read
it'll-
it for you.
It'll bring
Like,
the bubbles out.
the bubbles.
which in order what you need to read. So if you have problems reading comics, that's a lazy man way to do it.
bubbles.
I'm not like that old.
Why
Do you need somebody
like,
to
it'll-
read it to you?
We're already apologizing for who we are.
If you have trouble, we can assist you. There's ways. of
Thanks,
doing that.
guys. You all have my back.
Hey, you know what? You know what? This kind of full circle. This kind of brings me back to this, and I thought of this actually the last podcast, and we may have talked about it before. But Ben used to have me read. You remember this? Read the stats for our
That's right.
neighborhood football games. That
This
we
is
had.
something we haven't talked about.
We have not talked about this
We have
yet.
not talked about
I
this.
still have those. I still have the stats.
You have them.
Yes.
Not here with you though.
No.
'Cause that would have
they're-
been epic.
Oh my goodness.
We'll do that the next podcast.
Is that
we do
they're
together.
buried, like they're in storage.
Well, we got to find them because that was probably one of the coolest yet most intense. And Ken was our fierce running back.
So start over.
Okay,
What are you
all right.
talking about?
Well,
For
Ben,
those who have
Ben,
no idea what
can
you're
I
talking
start?
about.
Because I can give you like the behind the scenes, right?
Yeah, do
So
it.
we had several sets of friends. My best friend growing up was a guy named Nate Wheeler, and Nate Wheeler, the Wheeler family had kids in about the same
Yeah.
distance,
Yep.
right, and the
Yep.
same gender, right.
Yep.
So there was boy, girl, boy, 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 right?
Yep.
And they're about the same age. So when we got old enough, and I actually liked my family, liked hanging around with the family, like a lot of people don't. But I actually liked my brothers, and
we had a ball, man.
Yeah, we would play sports. Well, I figured out really quick that Joe, I'm just average. Like, I'm not gifted in sports, but I'm not horrible either. But Joe was really
above
gifted.
Average.
Well,
he is above average. That
was a long time ago.
Still.
But anyway, I remember those short arms, short legs. But we love football, right? Yeah. And you guys have talked about this, Spartan football, all this stuff. Well, Nate had a younger brother, John, and so I tried to figure out a way that we could just play football against them.
Yep.
So that's how it started. And then there were other like brother duos around town. And like Jason, I won't use their last name, some of them, just because of different reasons. But
that's fine.
But there were others around town that would play as well. And so it started as a 2-person thing. And it was a lot of fun. And we had plays called.
Yeah, it was amazing how much you could do with a 2-on-2 and sometimes 3, as Ken started being our running back.
That's where I started.
Yeah.
So we're going to expand it to 3, right? We're going to go to 3. And I was like, okay, so Joe's the receiver. I mean, he could play quarterback too, but the matchups were such that we could, whenever we needed a touchdown, I knew I could send Joe. We had like a banana play called it banana left, and it would be, remember the pine tree?
Yeah,
and
go to the pine tree.
He would run the defender into
the pine tree as the pick, as an illegal pick.
Yes. And so I dropped back, and all I had to do, Nate Wheeler was taller than me, and his arms are really tall. So that was a challenge. I had to get the ball over those arms, as he was coming in, 1 doggy, 2 doggy, 3 doggy. But I knew by then Joe would have run John into the pine tree. and then I'd have chucked the ball already.
Well, that ball, because of that angle, I think that ball hung in the air for like 50 seconds.
Yes,
because the angle was like.
Yeah. But then, so that I have stats from that, which are unbelievable stats, because of course the distance in the front yard is supposed to equal 100 yards.
We were killing it, man.
Yeah. So I would step back into one end zone and throw it into the other end zone, right? So it's 100-yard pass.
Every other play.
Yes. So then I was like, we got to expand this. So Joe was like the receiver.
Running yards. In the first 2 games.
First game was like 1,000 yards. I mean, it was just, but then I was like, so what do we do? Because Joe's the runner.
What were the names?
We
of
were
the teams?
the Everson Eagles.
That's right.
Yep. Everson Eagles,
was
the Wheeler
Hawks.
Wheeler
okay,
Hawks.
I remembered that correctly.
Another team was the Angels.
Yeah.
I forgot Schlouds. I don't know if you remember the Schlouds.
Yeah, I remember the Schlouds.
We had a run with them and some butcher shop, times where we played. That's a whole nother thing.
That's a whole nother thing.
Which I only got to play a little bit.
That was the dangerous.
Was the brutal.
The illegal league.
Yeah.
Someone always had a
broken arm,
bloody noses,
teeth.
Ripped shirts, teeth.
Yep.
Man.
And
I missed out on the fun.
We added Ken in, and so I was like, okay, so we're gonna make Ken the running back.
Yeah.
So it was in my mind. I still remember this 100%. Ken, in my mind, Ken was the battering ram.
Yeah,
because
I remember a very specific time you told me about this.
You were the bat, so you're gonna run as hard as you can.
Yeah, you told me to do that.
Yep.
And then I hurt myself. And it was just me, Joe, and you playing because you wanted to play football and you needed somebody to handle the ball besides you guys. You just wanted to run plays. One guy's a quarterback and then the other guy. So then I was like, I want to run the ball. I want to run the ball. Ben's like, all right, cool. So it's me and Joe versus Ben. And I was going to try to take on Ben because Ben was a defender. And Ben's trying to teach me how to run. He's like, Ken, you grab the ball, you
move those knees, man.
Hug it tight. That's right.
Move your legs, keep your legs moving, and just put your head down and run.
That's right.
So then I did. He said hike, and I ran right into Ben's stomach. Bam! And Ben was like, oh! And I hurt my neck.
Ken was solid.
He's like, why did you do that? So you told me to put my head down and run. So I did, and you were in the way.
Yep.
And he was like, oh. Okay.
And another part that made it worse, I have to say, because I was trying to get, obviously that was having fun, right? And we need to play against each other, and Peter wasn't old enough yet.
Peter was running around in cowboy boots, a Superman cape around the house.
With cowboy
doing
boots.
laps.
Yeah. And there wasn't too much distance, really, because Peter he's the last brother, of course. I really didn't get to know him, really, before I left for college.
Yeah.
But long story short, we went on the side of for practice, we would go on the side of the house,
Yeah.
which was narrow. So it's long and narrow.
The one by the shed?
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
and the bushes. The bushes.
That's right.
They were really long.
So,
yeah.
and you had to pick.
I used to pee there all the time.
Why?
I just remember. Well, I don't know why. It's
Because it's
a little
America.
boys thing, right?
It's America.
Because I can. America.
The little boys, whatever.
Yeah,
you're out there
yeah,
outside playing.
No,
I
I
gotta
know
go
what you
potty,
mean.
so you just go in the bushes or whatever.
I guess that's
But
better
it was
than
the
wetting
alley.
your pants.
No, it was the alley.
See, that's what I would do. I was like, I'm not going to the bushes. I'll just take care of business
Just
right
go.
now and
That's
just keep
exactly-
going.
That's exactly what I do because it's
my-
just like, boot, do that, and you're done, and then you go back to play. You don't have to run inside,
I hate
take your
running
shoes
inside. I know.
off.
Yes.
And I
And
didn't
then
know it.
You didn't know because if you go inside, you may not be able to come back because then you might have a chore or something.
That is
they
true.
catch you.
Right.
Oh,
Right,
Ken,
yeah.
you're here.
Oh, Ken, I want you to do all the laundry.
All the laundry.
Hey, you didn't paint your bedroom yet.
What are you talking about?
I hated. Can we talk about something that's on my heart?
Yeah, we do this. Just go for it.
I hate 5 o'clock.
Oh boy, I know where this
You know?
is going.
Do you know where this is going?
I know the feeling.
Time to come inside.
Oh,
Yeah.
Ken, you did it.
Yeah.
I hate to
Bed,
this.
bed.
No,
Bed, bed.
don't do that.
Come inside.
Yeah.
Oh, I hate it.
Come
5
inside
o'clock,
now.
especially probably throughout all the Midwest, but particularly in Michigan during when it's not freezing winter. You know,
So
in the good days of
3 days.
The 4 days that you had that were nice.
Yeah, they go inside at 5 o'clock.
Yeah.
that meant playtime outside was over.
Right.
And to this day, and we've got some audience here in the studio right now. My wife Amanda and youngest son Brandon.
Beckham's
is
gonna
here.
feel this a little bit too.
And will he?
Yeah,
he will
a
feel
little
this.
bit. Yeah.
They know when the sun gets to it's hanging low in the sky and all this stuff.
Yeah,
I get
yeah.
depressed for about 45 minutes, and I'll look at the clock,
Oh my
and
goodness.
and it's 5 o'clock.
Well, we're past it, Ben.
Wait. Well, 45.
But,
yes.
but
So
it's
you-
not in
minutes
Central
past
time.
it.
See, my internal clock's on Central right now.
Oh, so it's
Oh,
about
so
to
Ben,
he's about to
Ben,
have a
about 10
depressed
minutes.
moment.
It's
I
going to
can
be 5
avoid it.
o'clock, Ben.
I can avoid it if we're inside.
Yeah,
I
you-
need you to turn off
you
the
don't feel it
lights
here.
when it hits 5 o'clock.
I totally know what you mean, though. I feel it.
Yes.
Although in the summer, one of the best feelings was, I know this is a totally different time, but my favorite time of day, I guess you would call it evening, would be evening. It was like around maybe 6 or 7.
Because you still had light.
Yeah, and it was later on into into the night, but there were a lot of great times playing basketball in that
Yes.
court that had all the holes in it and all that.
Yeah,
and
so we had.
trying to dunk on that hoop. Oh man.
So, will you permit me a Patch the Pirate story?
good idea.
Is that cool? Because I'm in. The reason I'm here is I'm in town for the
Yep.
funeral.
and we
Yep.
can bring that up here in a second. We do want to
well,
talk
I don't
about
mean
that.
to jump
No,
ahead.
You do.
No.
You can jump.
I do mean to, but I
Little
didn't
jump.
mean to. So I came home. So I'm trying to think. Is it the cool story? Well, I mean, it's a little bit cool.
Is this?
I came home
is this
from
when you
camp.
came?
Well, I went. Yeah. So
I remember this.
yes.
Yes, please tell.
Okay. So we have a driveway, and it was old school cement, and
Right.
it would.
And you hear how he said that? It's the correct way to say it.
Right.
Oh yes, it is definitely. I don't even want to go down that road.
So we're not talking about
It's
it.
just CMENT.
cement.
No, SCMENT.
It's just SM. Sment. SMENT.
It's so funny because I haven't said it like this.
Yes, that's it.
I haven't said it like this till you just said it. Now I'm going to say it like that again.
What's wrong with how I said it?
Nothing. Nothing. I've lost it. I've lost the way to say
You've
it.
lost. You've been in.
Because
You've been
I've been in the South. It's either cement or cement.
Cement. Yeah. I
Yeah,
guess
cement.
yeah.
Or it's cement down here.
Cement, which
The
I
cement.
like a lot less.
Cement.
I don't like that one.
Yeah. I know.
So we had the old.
But it's all chewed up. So that's what Joe was talking about, because the ball would always like bounce weird, and you only had certain pathways through the chopped
It's
up.
just funny when we
It was
start
big
talking
though.
about it.
It was big though.
It was.
It was.
Oh, yeah.
It was large. So it was. We had prop. You
Did
could
you
make
guys-
proper plays. You could shoot threes. Like
yeah.
we had
Well,
on
I'd come
both
up that
sides
ramp
too.
on the side. I love dunking from the side because
Yep.
that's where the driveway went down to the road. So it wasn't
That's right.
just a square. It was like a V.
It was like a
I remember car shot.
a music note.
Oh, I still do car shots.
Car shot.
Yep.
Beckham, you know what a car shot is, don't you? He does. He just forgot about it.
I forgot what you won. It was like
So back to story.
I'm sorry, I'm way off.
No, this is how it goes.
Yeah.
So broken up driveway.
But this was
Coming home.
how the hoop came to be. I came home from camp, and I had turned 13. I can't remember what grade it was, but it was camp about 2 hours away.
probably second grade.
I never went to normal camp. I went to music/basketball camp.
Didn't you go to Freedom Farm?
At Freedom Farm.
Oh, man.
Yes, they've now changed their name to just Freedom Christian School instead of Freedom Farm. But anyway,
Never
you would never guess.
Animals.
Yeah, we were the animals. Yeah.
Sorry, keep going.
Anyway, and I was taking a nap, and then I woke up when we pulled in, and there was a brand new basketball hoop there.
Oh,
And
cool.
Captain Patch came out our back door.
You're just like,
And he said, "Happy birthday, mate."
Ahoy, mate.
Yeah.
no way.
Dead serious.
Huh.
And they happened to be passing through, and they are friends of the family from music days gone by prior to our, generation. But the previous thing, Dad got a master's degree from Dr. Garlock from Pensacola, in the early 80s.
Yep.
So when they came through, it just so happened that they had installed the hoop, and then the Hamiltons just dropped by. And I
Like
woke
the
up
best day of your life.
very close.
Yeah, like your early life.
Yes.
But think about it.
My
like,
wife's sitting in the studio
You
here.
probably shouldn't say yes, even if it
wasn't the best day of my life.
your early life.
Yes. I mean, that was
up to that point.
plus, when you wake up, you're like in this stupor, right?
Yeah, you're kind of like, what's
Why
going
are
on?
you whispering? Is this a secret?
No,
Is
it's-
nobody else?
I'm drawing the listeners.
Oh, okay.
Drawing. Yes. And I woke up. Oh, hey, mate. No, it wasn't like,
Wait a minute. That just got creepy. That's the wrong kind of pirate. This is not right.
no, it wasn't like,
Kind of
but he
pirate
was there,
woke you
and
up.
that's where it came from. That's where the hoop came from. And we just drove by in Michigan. Obviously, the house hasn't moved, but every once in a while when I'm in Midland, we'll drive by just so I can look at it. You guys do that ever?
I have, yeah.
Every single time, because the tree fort that Joe and I sort of built was there until recently.
Yeah,
I
the
think
most recent time it's
when we were
finally
there and
down.
got caught with COVID the last time we were there, or whatever. I don't think it was there anymore. But up until that point,
You thought,
Sorry. You were like,
we got caught.
like you were smuggling it.
How dare you? Well, that's the way it is in Michigan. Did you know that the government called me after I went? Immediately they called me and they were like, "Oh, we heard you had COVID. Who did you come with? Who are you with? Where'd you come from?"
Who called you?
where'd you
The
go?
government
Cotton Eye
of
Joe.
Michigan, the local state government at the time. They were like,
Yeah.
And I was like, "I'm not giving you my information." They're like, "That's fine, but you're not allowed to leave." They told me I had a quarantine at my house.
Wait, that's where you put the music.
It'd be angry music. That's where I wanted. That's where I was like, we're gonna go to the store and cough on somebody just because. No, that's not. That's not what we did. But it made you feel like, wow. But anyways, I didn't mean to get onto that.
No, well, we had a completely different experience in Florida.
COVID,
anyway.
it's a party.
But no, I
Wasn't
drove
that, but
by.
I mean, it was
yeah. No, I drove by and
the fort's gone now.
The fort is gone. Yeah. The
hoop-
tree house.
The stump of the hoop is still there.
Really?
Yep.
Yeah, because Dad put that in.
It was cemented.
so
It was cement. But I know what happened.
Okay.
What happened was they ordered the wrong
yes.
thing.
Here you go.
Right?
Yes, that's
Isn't
what.
this-
Yes.
And they had to put two parts together.
Yep.
So it was actually sunk instead of
That's what I'm trying to tell you. It would have been a miracle to pull it out of the ground.
it's there forever.
It's like a tree, like with roots down to the.
It's going to be there through the whole
subterranean
tribulation.
I've never heard. That's a good phrase. I like
Actually,
that
that's where the beast will come out of. Is that hole?
It's the bottomless pit.
That's how they come out.
It's only this big.
The locust.
Coming out of Midland, Michigan. The locusts crawling out of the basketball hoop.
Oh my goodness. I remember the day. I remember the day we had a
this.
hydrochloric acid leak or something like that over the town from Dow Chemical.
Oh yeah, in the clouds. I was with TJ Van Wert. I was at his house, and his dad's like, "You can't go outside. You got to stay inside." Yeah. And we heard the like, siren going
hydrochloric
off.
acid rain.
Well, it might have been a different thing.
Well, it get into the atmosphere, and then the rain is contaminated.
Well, this version of it, I don't know if it's the same one.
It was hydrochloric acid.
I don't know. It was acid of some sort. I don't know if
it's like a Joker thing.
100%.
Well, that's where the Joker's from.
He's a Dow Chemical employee.
Him and Harley are just chilling out.
That's where he was made. He fell into a Dow. The Ace Chemical, but it actually was Dow Chemical.
Silicone.
Yep. Silicon.
Actually, there's a difference between the two things, isn't there?
What?
I don't know.
Silicone and silicon. Yeah.
Teach us.
We are so far off the rabbit trail.
Teach us so much. Wait. So I have vague memory, but I do have a little bit to back up of that day. I think. Now, did Patch come visit another time that you like distinctly remember? Or
Natalie has pictures with Patch.
Yes, he gave me a poster.
That was older. She was older. She wasn't. She was probably 13 or something at that time. She made a post about it. But
well, he came to Wisconsin.
That's what it was.
No, not this one.
Okay,
so it might be the one.
Is what I was thinking of.
No,
for Natalie,
Ken,
is what I'm saying.
You sang with him.
I sang with him when he came to Northland. Yeah,
and you played the part of when they're like the
brother,
the father,
the
son.
brother,
the son, the brother. Yeah.
What part did you play?
What part did I play?
Were you the father, the mother, or
I
the
played
son,
the
or the
daughter. Very beautiful eyelashes
and a nice high voice.
Oh my goodness! No, I remember that. Yep.
And so, but this one that I keep going back to, is that the only time you remember in Michigan?
No, I mean there are two times I remember, but one was on Swede Road.
Okay, so
it couldn't have been that
one,
and they could have come through. Because I went to Maranatha for a few years, and then I was at Northland, and then Amanda, who, for your listeners, that's my wife, she actually lived with the family. Imagine that, living with your future in-laws before we got married while I was going to college. Yeah. So there was another 5 years in there that he could have come, but I wouldn't.
The Garlocks came by in Wisconsin once, and I remember playing hot dice with them.
Oh, yeah, I missed that.
Yep.
That was like
Shelly Hamilton knows the game.
Ben's face. He's like, what?
It's not an illicit game. It's a game you can play with just dice. And it was tons of fun. When they came in.
Is it really hot?
You put them in the oven for about an hour.
The last one that doesn't grab one loses.
Yeah, so you all have to touch the hot dice.
So when it spins like a 6, you got to hold it for 6 seconds.
Minutes.
Days.
Find a way.
The only reason I know the name of it is because I just talked to Shelly about it.
Okay.
When we were at the Frank Garlick's funeral, and I told her, I was like, I remember this memory of him coming in. He played this dice game, and she's like, "Oh, hot dice!" Like she knew exactly what it was. She was like, "Oh yeah,
cool."
So now we got to relearn it again because it was tons of fun. Because I remember being very little and I didn't know who they were.
But you picked up a good vibe from him.
Frank Garlock talked so fast I couldn't understand him. He just talked so fast.
Like, listening to him is like drinking
his wife was there.
Hydrant.
His wife was there too. Both of them, and they were just sitting at the dining table laughing like with mom and dad. So I came out, and then I was like, "What are you guys doing? Like,
why are you guys having so much fun?
Hot dice?"
Yeah, can't wait to be an adult.
This is great.
Hot dice.
Well, they're special people, and you get when you have people that are soul. What is the word? Like compatible.
Yeah, like connect. There's a connection that's made within the families.
It doesn't matter what point in life, because like we saw them when we were young. We obviously grew up on the recordings and the music, and then you see them later in life, and then
similar philosophy.
This is the question I wanted to ask Ben, is because Ben was much more connected with them in the years that we weren't. So like when Ben got in his ministry and stuff like that, working with Majesty and doing things like that too, how did your view of Patch change not good or bad, but just dynamically, what was the relationship like towards the later years? Because when I reconnected with them when I did Shelley's book, it was like relearning all the stuff again and building the relationship and stuff like that too. Or I was like, I was only ever a fan as a kid, really. And so, but Ben was like, oh yeah, I hung out with Patch today or whatever. And I remember being younger, like, wow.
And I was older, and I was still like, "Wow."
Yeah.
I think the biggest thing was that he was the same person all the way through. Does that make sense? Yeah. Like the more you got to know him, it's just more of the same. Sure. I remember being over at their house because Jonathan was a friend. We weren't best friends. I don't want to misconstrue anything because he had some best friends. I mean, Ben Farrell, who ended up being his brother-in-law anyway. Right. They were tight, and he had a few others that were actually like really good friends. But we had a kinship, I would say. I interviewed him that day when he came over when I was 13 and he was like 11. There's a cassette tape somewhere, and I'm going to find it of me interviewing him and Tara. And I want to get that for them. I think that'd be special. But anyway, long story short, it was just more like it was deeper. Now, I will give you this story of Captain Patch, which strangely enough tells you a lot about him. So we were going to record Bow the Knee, right? Yeah. Which Joe took photos of, and praise the Lord you did, because those photos have been like
in this studio.
Right here in the studio where we are.
Right over there.
Right. I actually remember.
I just pointed to my left.
Right about here.
Yep.
Right over there. Can't you see? What's wrong with you?
What's wrong with you people? And I was losing my voice at the time, and there's a lot of other spiritual things that were going on, but this is a very practical thing. So I wrote this arrangement of Bow the Knee, and there's this little part in the chorus. Bow the knee, bow. It's like the alphabet. You have to start at the beginning.
Yeah, go through the whole
thing. The knee, God alone on his throne. See him high and here it is. And lift it up and bow the knee. Do 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 do. Right? There's this little. It's not a lick. That's like pop music, but there's like this little melody that goes there, right?
Yep.
And I had thought that was just like an arrangement thing that somebody did, and it wasn't important. So I didn't include it in the arrangement. And so we're singing along, and that kind of bothered him a little bit. Not in a bad way, but just I could tell he's like, well, you said, well, you left that part out. So they like thought about it, talked about it, and then came back in about 10 minutes later, and they were like, we really would like that part in because I consider that, part of the actual song. Sure. And I said, oh, no problem. Yeah, I'll absolutely put it in. And so it didn't actually take much to splice that in. I just went do, 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 and then, split the song, put that in there and like that. Yeah. But that to me showed me how much he cared about the things that he created. Mm-hmm. So all of us, each of us, I should say, Joe with his art, music too, but I mean art, Ken with the creative projects that you're creating because you talk about them on the podcast and I know what you're doing, and then me with the things that I write. The art that we come up with is part of who we are. And when someone criticizes or when someone, I guess I had thought that
it's wrapped around your heart.
Yes,
it's tangled up in your heart. Which
right.
Sounds like a pop song.
And I had thought
up in my heart.
He was so humble.
I'm gonna go record this after we're done.
Little trio after this.
My heart is tangled.
No, it's a Disney song.
Yeah.
When my heart is tangled.
It's so tangled.
Yep.
Tangled.
Tangle-led.
I guess I had thought that because he was so humble and easygoing, that a little detail like that wouldn't matter. That's where I was going with
I
that.
see what you're saying.
Yeah.
Because he is so humble and he is kind when you meet him.
Yes.
So you feel this like softness when you meet him and you're like, wow, but he's not a pushover.
But the grace,
he knows
the grace didn't overrun the excellence, I think is what you're trying to say.
That's great too.
Because
write this down.
Right.
It's good stuff.
We should record this.
We should probably be recording.
Yes.
Oh man.
But both of you are absolutely correct. 100%. And that informed me then. And then I was doubly or triply impressed with how well he took criticism. Not that I criticized him, but I know people who did. And
it wasn't Amanda.
No, of course not.
It was Amanda.
No, there's supercalifragile hyperfundalistic people that will get.
I asked Shelly about that when I was doing the audiobook because that was my first all this time I was spending with her.
Yeah,
and so I just in breaks and stuff, and a lot of that book was really heavy, so we needed some funny things, and so we were throwing some things out. And one of the things I asked, I was like, can you tell me about some of the stuff when you put out Big Toe?
Oh my!
Or
goodness.
she was like, yeah, that was a big one that people were really
Wings
upset
as
about.
Eagles was controversial.
Yeah,
at one
but
point.
she said the Gospel Train one.
The gospel train is coming.
The fact that the beat was the chugga chugga of the train was a problem.
Well, that's why I don't ride trains.
Yeah, I know.
Because then I'll hear something.
You go to the conductor and you say, "Could you make that on 1 and 3, and 2 and 4, please?" Thanks.
Yes, this needs to be.
You need to stop on 4 and 3, so it doesn't go chugga chugga chugga. It goes,
that would be
chugga 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 chugga.
Wait a minute, that's the wrong way.
That's the wrong. Now we're on 2 and 4.
Now we're on the evil podcast.
Well, it just depends on what train you're riding.
That's right.
Amen.
We're getting off track.
That will preach.
See,
Wow,
did you hear that?
preach.
We're getting off track.
That actually went over my head.
I like
so.
my joke better.
I did too, but I like the low hanging fruit. I'll go for the easy thing.
There you go.
But it has been an emotional day, I will say. So it's nice to sit down with you guys.
So I wanted to bring this really quickly, and now it's on the other side of us already talking about it. But out of respect, today was the day that we spent a little bit of time. I was able to go to the service, but
Yes.
it was out at Bob Jones University, which they had ties to, and of course
They call it the
everything.
Celebration of Life service,
Exactly.
right?
Yes,
Yep.
Celebration of Life service. It was really awesome to see, and my brother Ben. I like being able to say that in both
Brother
ways.
Ben.
Brother Ben.
Bless this meal for
Brother
us.
Ben. He
Brother
was.
Ben, will you bless this meal?
He was. But seriously, he was. I don't know where that came from, but that's just us, people.
I know.
3 Everson boys in the room. That's gonna happen.
I'm trying to follow
4.
Joe's serious track, and Ken's over here.
You're gonna get both.
Cannot
Ken's on
get
my
it out of
shoulder.
my ears.
He's like my shoulder angel.
You got both.
Yeah, it's like Ken's over
my
here.
shoulder angel. Where's the other guy?
Yes, you're right. Hey, I was late. What does he say? That's one of the best movies of all time.
Oh no! Here we go.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
This
I
one,
won't do it.
we're getting pulled in.
I'm sorry.
No, but that's
pulled out.
just for our audience sake. Ron Hamilton, known as Patch the Pirate, who wrote and composed stories, music, ensembles, what else? Cantatas, Christmas songs, Easter, all of it for Christendom. Honestly, and really how we know it as, at least how I started was as a child, listening to Captain Patch.
Which was a patch. Captain Patch was
Like an adventure you could go on.
It started as a children's audio adventure.
Yes.
Which was huge, by the way, into why I'm into audio, honestly.
There you go.
For stuff
Here we go.
like Captain Patch is without Captain Patch, we could play that game, right? Like It's a Wonderful Life.
Who knows?
Without Captain
Right.
Patch, none of us would be sitting here right now. Without Captain Patch, what would the music be like that we grew up listening to? And
my ear training, lot of it. I'm sure our dad would have had us involved, and we would have gained maybe even just as good of an ear. But to be honest with you, I don't know. Because of how much I just know what I do know, and that is I got a lot of my ear training listening to him and listening to what he put out. So
I like to call for people who don't know who he is, because all 3 of us interact with circles that aren't what we grew up in, and secular circles. Even I describe him to people who have no idea of even Christianity. Sometimes I describe him as Mr. Rogers.
Yeah.
And he's not the same,
right?
But that's the vibe. He was like the Mr. Rogers of Christianity.
Yep.
Yeah. That's the vibe.
Yeah, it was a fictional character.
Yep.
That he created, and he would interact with fictional stories, but there was all a point to it and lesson to it, in the same way that Mr. Rogers got on there, and his whole thing was there's nothing good on television. Like he wanted something for kids to watch that they could learn and grow
feel special
and grow up to be good people. Captain Patch was much more than that, much more direct and specifically into Christianity or whatever. But I understand what you're saying. It was the same kind of style,
accessibility.
Accessibility. Yeah. It was because he was on the radio, and you could buy the cassette tapes. You could buy the whole big collection. You remember that?
Yeah.
Where they have
they called it the Captain's Treasure Chest.
Yeah. And they did that, and honestly, in this building here, you can go down and we can find original recordings of all that stuff.
That's pretty cool.
There's reels back there. There's tape reels. There's cassette.
Well, did you know
vinyl.
he I'm giving you an edit point. I'm giving you an edit point.
I don't want to edit
in
points.
Case you got to cut
I don't
this
edit
out.
these. That's your own fault.
Well, actually, okay, yeah, you don't want to have to edit this. He was generous. He was very generous, and he gave me a special technological present. At one point that helped me record some things, and that really meant a lot. And honestly, I'm going to do an article on this on my website.
On the newspaper?
In the news?
No, on the newspaper?
On the newspaper?
You're going to do an article on the newspaper?
Wait, about the newspaper, basically?
Are you going to do it on the newspaper, Ben?
Yes.
Answer the question.
Yes. Yes, I am. Yes,
now
I
we
will.
can move on.
Yes, I will. I might have been getting too serious for a second, but again, it was a heavy day, you know. But he helped for a lot of listeners. Like, I don't know who all your listeners are, because we might have pulled in, or I say we. I kind of consider you guys my brothers because you are. So I was just like, oh, hey, they are my brothers, so I can say that. But your success, like with the podcast, I'm pumped for it. So like I'm like it's like Everson brothers, right? So we might have pulled in some people that are coming in because of the last episode,
right?
Who may have no context.
Yeah. No, that's good. That's good.
Right?
That's why I wanted to talk about. This is
literally for anybody that is.
Yep. Just wants to
suffer.
And that's why we also don't specifically like go after necessarily like one topic that we're just going to ring that bell only, which is totally cool to do with some podcasts. But that's why today it's the Everson Brothers. So we've gone from, experiences back in the past to obviously today being very specific to Captain Patch. And so I think that was super timely. That's really awesome that this all kind of came together. But I think the listeners are kind of with us. They know what's going on. But beautiful job, by the way, today. I was going to mention, I don't know if I got it out or not, but Ben is more than just this, but a lot of you may have actually heard him and not even known it, but he is a great vocalist. He and his family have beautiful voices, and which I got to sing with them and travel and all that. It was fun. Ken has an awesome voice.
Yes.
And we like to sing. Finally,
I saved something for this podcast.
Oh, cool.
Okay, well, good, because we're going to end this one, and they're going to listen to the next one.
Oh, do you want me to hold it over to the next one?
Yeah, we got to make them wait for that.
All right.
Ben's here. We're going to be, he's here for a long time. He's going to be here for weeks.
weeks
and weeks.
Of episodes.
That's what's going to sound like when you hear these episodes.
Oh, my goodness.
Or you could just we could do one more, and you can keep it for like 5 months. And do 10
years.
And then come back to it and finally answer the question.
No, what you got, man? What are you talking about?
Do it now?
You say what did you say? You said you say
so,
something before this podcast.
Yeah, I did. So I was going to talk to you about it before the podcast. No, I'm going to tell them on it. So, I have an arrangement. An a cappella arrangement.
Okay.
That takes John Williams' Superman theme and Hans Zimmer's Superman theme.
Okay, I'm getting really psyched right now.
And puts them together. And I want the three of us to do it.
Right now?
Right now? I'm ready.
It's downloading to your brains right now.
Beep boop beep boop beep boop.
So, but yes, that's what I want to do. And do a video of it.
Do a video of it?
Do a video of it. I did. It starts that way.
Yeah.
I actually start it with Krypton theme. But then it doesn't just go back and forth between the two themes.
It like blends them.
It puts them at simultaneously.
Oh. We got to ask Robert on for that one.
No, we can do
that'd be sweet.
We do it. We can have him on and present it to him. He also mentioned that he has never seen the Donner Cut, and he doesn't want to because he doesn't want it to influence his future writing.
Yep.
I was going to talk to him and say, hey, man, when you do watch it, can we watch it together?
I was actually going to jokingly
have a watch
say that,
party,
and then I was like,
you can do that. You can do that with Amazon or whatever. You can have click watch party and it syncs to whoever, and then like.
No. We're gonna go to his house. We're gonna show up at his door.
Right. Well, there goes that connection.
The Eversons are here. We want to watch the video. Let's watch it together.
I'm gonna drink my Sonic drink.